Hi, in this video I'm answering questions that you guys are sending through the form. So if you want to do that, grab the form below. And so this week the question is how to not let nervousness affect the scene and break you out of character. So you may have experienced that, especially if the stakes are high. So when you have an audition, whether it's on tape or in the room, and it's a big part, it's something that could change everything for you. It's your big break. When you really, really want it, it feels like a fit and it feels like it's important, and yes, it can affect your future. And there's maybe name actors in there and, name director, etc. Actors have a tendency to get very, very nervous and start to actually put their attention on the fact that this could change everything and get carried away with the money that could come in and the opportunities that could come in and all that success can bring. And of course, if you have caught yourself doing that, even if it's not a huge thing, but it's something that you really want, and you're starting to see that your attention is going towards getting it, you'll have a tendency to be really, really nervous because you're no longer interested in what your character wants, which is what you're supposed to defend, which is the job description, which is what you're paid for, but you're suddenly interested in what's going to happen for you if you do that job. And so it can really affect the way that you're doing the scene. How is this person framing this? How to not let nervousness affect the scene and break you out of character. Yeah, if the nerves are really, really present because you're thinking about booking, or you're thinking about doing it right, or making sure they like you, or making sure you hit every beat in the scene, or making sure that you're emotionally intense enough, well, you're inevitably going to affect the scene because you're no longer present. You're no longer in the present moment. You're no longer here with what's happening inside of you in this moment. And that presence is there to defend what the character wants. So once you're decided to defend the character, to take on the character's life, it's your job to really put your energy on making sure that your character gets what they want. Your job is not to book, to please, to make money, to satisfy the casting director, to be better than others, because all of that has to do with your ego, which is what is going to bring you the nervousness. So the first thing I would like to say is make sure that your attention is not focused on the booking. And again, especially if the stakes are high, because that's when there'll be a huge tendency for you to put your attention. You'll be attracted, you'll be sucked into, oh yeah, I want it. And therefore you'll be nervous in the moment because you'll be scared that you won't get it, instead of actually focusing on what does my character want? Let me try to get that. That's where your entire energy should be. Now, that's one topic. Now, let's say it's not about the stakes are high, and it's not about your attention is in the future and trying to book and focused on the outcome, but you're just feeling a lot of nerves, and it hasn't got anything to do with an audition. You're just acting and you're feeling nervous. So what actors will have a tendency to do, because of how traditional acting class goes, is to try to relax. And so if your body, your nervous system is feeling a lot of nervousness, if you're trying to relax, it means you're suppressing what's happening. So if your body is a vessel, I like to call it a vessel, so it's like a tunnel, you have in that tunnel constantly so much information, so much impulses, emotion, instinct, constantly moving through you. And if in that vessel nervousness comes and you say, no, that's not good, I want to get rid of that, and I want confidence or calm or whatever it is that you may want. You're closing the door to your instrument. What happens when you're closing the door to your instrument is all the other impulses, sensations, emotions, and energies are also locked away from you. So the only thing you'll have available is a mask. Perform, pretend, fake, pretend, lie. Just put something on top that looks good so that you feel like you did the job. But the nervousness is still there. So usually when you're going to repress the nervousness, it's going to push harder because it's really there. And it's just trying to move through. It's just trying to finish its cycle. It's coming for a reason. If you let it move, it'll finish its cycle. It finishes its arc and then it's done. And if you're repressing it, if you're pushing it inside, it will have to get bigger in order to finish its cycle. Just like I usually say, if you drink water and if you're preventing yourself from going pee, at one point it's going to push harder because it needs to finish. It's the same for a sensation, an energetic sensation, for energy in movement, which is emotion inside of you. It needs to finish its arc. So when you're stopping it, you're just making it more resilient, and it's going to want to move through more. So you're going to have a thicker and thicker mask to pretend you're not feeling the nervousness. So what we do in our work is actually to really surrender to it and be with it, because nervousness is not wrong. It's just human. If you can let it move through you, if you're not nervous of being nervous, if you're not afraid of being nervous, if you can just let it moves really fast. If you can be pure with an emotion, it actually takes 7 seconds, not more. So the problem is you've been trained to think you're not allowed, not supposed to be, it's not good to be nervous. And so your whole instrument contracts when you're nervous, and you're keeping it in. And so it pushes strong and you push strong. And so this is what is happening inside constantly when you have the nervousness. It's trying to move through and you put a lid on top. So this is inside. And on top of that, because you're not going to go with that, you're going to put a mask of, hi, I'm fine, I'm doing great. And you're going to perform. So the experience for you is dreadful. The character, no one's there to defend them because you're busy doing this, so you're nowhere available for the character. And of course, your audience or the casting director is not touched, moved, impacted in any way because you're not there. You're busy dealing with this. So the invitation is really for you to be with, let that sensation be moving with you. And of course, that's what we do in our work, since you might not be used to allowing emotion to move through you purely and freely because you've been asked to suppress it your entire life. So you've spent decades really being good at suppressing and pretending. So now if I'm telling you just let it move through, you might be like, I have no access to this. I have no plumbing to be able to do this. I don't know how to let nervousness move through me because it's just, not available in my instrument. The pipe, the wiring for that is gone. So the work we do in our reset work is to help actors and accompany actors in really going back to their human technology. So it's rehumanizing you to enable you to feel and be with and live what nature designed for you to live, which is to be with what's really there and not to pretend that there's something else. So if this makes sense, you can let us know, you can send us a comment, or you can actually also try our reset taster, which is 5 days from our full reset journey, which is 33 days, but you can taste 5 days and see if this works, resonates for you. And if it does, then you can keep going. We also work in the gift economy, which means that you can participate at the level that matches your finances, understanding that this is a team's work, and that there's resources put into this work so that you can value the work we do, value your finances, and gift what is a match for you. So I hope that this makes sense. Again, maybe there's a link down there so you can grab the taster, or you can send us a comment if it's not clear for you, and we'll make sure that we reach out to you. Okay, thank you. Bye.